Hello everyone, my name is Ahmad Omar from University of Florida, and today is my pleasure to interview one of the ASHS HortLegend, Dr. Rajasekaran Lada. So welcome and thank you very much for giving us the time to tell us about your experience in the horticulture and the ASHS and provide an advice for the for the student and the young generation in horticulture.
Thank you very much, Ahmed, for inviting me, and thanks for ASHS for recognizing me as a hot legend. I still believe there's a lot of learning in my life. Actually, I'm still learning anyway. But again, it's a pleasure to be here in talking to you, and certainly in terms of uh, about horticulture and the opportunities and what we can offer to the next generation. It's pleasure is mine.
So my first question, what is your horticulture specialization and what are the primary position you have here?
Let me go back in my time, actually. I did my bachelor's in horticultural science and my master's in horticultural science from the Tamil Nadu Agricultural University in Coimbatore in India. And then did my PhD from the University of Adelaide from the Waite Agriculture and Research Institute in South Australia. And then my postdoc there, actually. And from there, actually, I also earned a certificate in university management from the University of Manitoba. So these are some of the things that I did in terms of my credentials. But my specialization has been in many areas in horticulture. It started with the salinity research. It's mostly in environmental stress and adaptation and stress metabolism, horticultural physiology, agroinformatics, um, controlled environmental production systems, as well as indoor vertical production systems as well. So it's a range of expertise that I have been with, uh, based on how I'll be able to serve the industry better. So as you know, horticultural science is sort of a very wide net. Actually, there's no one specific areas that we can focus on. So it is determined by our specializations grow as we experience the challenges, and then we'll be able to streamline and guide us ourselves through that. So that's been the way it has been there. In terms of my positions, I think we should never forget where we started from actually. So I started as a research associate as soon as completed my master's. The opportunities were great at the time, so that was my first position in horticulture at the Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, and I moved as assistant professor in there. I worked there for about 4.5 years before I left for my PhD program in Australia. I did my postdoc there as well for a short period of time. And then from there, actually, went back to India, worked in different organizations, started working in Spices Board, which is the government of India, as a division head for crop and soil management. And then I was invited to start a horticultural program at Annamalai University. And I was a professor and department head for the Department of Horticulture at Annamalai University. Started master's and PhD programs at Annamalai University. And at that time, and then moved to Canada. And I was at the University of Toronto as a project lead, actually, for ecochemical research to work in forestry, actually, in terms of, as you probably know, 60% of the regenerative plants, they won't survive because of extreme multiple stresses. So I was there to provide solutions for that challenge, basically, the Faculty of Forestry. From there, I moved on to Nova Scotia Agricultural College in Canada as a research professor to start the processing carrot research program. And I was a director of the processing carrot research program from there. From there, I moved on to World Vegetable Center as an internationally recruited scientist. And I was a division head for the crop and soil management from there. And then went back to Nova Scotia Agricultural College, basically. And I was as a full professor, and I was also a department head for the environmental sciences. And a second term, I served as a full professor and department head for department chair for the Department of Plant, Food, and Environmental Sciences. And I retired in 2020. And then I became a co-founder of Verfa Agri-Food Innovations. I'm an entrepreneur now, and also I lead a team of researchers, and I'm the Chief Science and Innovation Officer for Verfa Agri-Food Innovations, which is at Truro, Nova Scotia, Canada. It's a long,
it's a long and that's a great career actually. Nova Scotia is a great place. I visited in 2008 to visit one of my friends.
It's a wonderful place to be in, actually.
I stayed there 10 days. It's a beautiful place.
It is indeed.
Yeah. So what has horticulture meant to your life and your career?
It's a very good question. I think I would say very simply, I think it goes back. Now, I didn't know what horticulture meant when I was studying in the horticulture. When my parents wanted me to be a doctor, as any Indian parents would like to be. But I went and joined the horticultural school, not knowing what horticulture was. But the thought that was going through my mind at the time was, instead of curing diseases, why can't we prevent it? It's just a thought process in my brain. And then I went and joined the horticultural school in Tamil Nadu Agricultural University, Coimbatore. But horticulture has been an integral part of my life. It's like a bloodstream flowing through your body. And every nerve ending is horticulture, as far as I'm concerned, basically. And horticulture is the one which made me who I am today. So I'm really proud to be calling myself as a horticulturist, or a person who knows a little bit of horticulture, I would say. But horticulture, I learned a lot, basically, in horticulture, basically. I think it's really taught me very fundamental thing. I think that horticulture made me to realize we are part of nature. That is the first lesson. The moment we see in an orchard or a vegetable garden, you feel like that you are a part of nature. And horticulture also taught me so many things, and I can probably say a few things about it. It taught me patience, persistence, purpose, and resilience, adaptation, right? And it just really raised some fundamental questions in describing the purpose. I think we need to be purposeful until end of our life. So there are so many things that I learned from horticulture on a life perspective, which really made me who I am today. On the career perspective, I never thought about my career goals or my destination, because I always believe the destination will take me wherever it has to take me. It's very interesting how the whole thing is open out, actually. So in terms of my career path, there was absolutely no design. I was never hoping to be a professor. I wanted to just be in a career. But I was testing different opportunities as it arose, actually, which was a really great thing to be fixated on something that made me believe. I was fascinated to be an academic, basically, so I can be in the classroom, engaging with students, challenging, and discovering together, the newer ideas. So it was fascinating to be in an academic area, doing research, contributing to industries. There are so many things that we can do in building new generation, right? That has been the highlight of my destiny. But the position or probably the horticulture as a profession took me to various areas. I was in various continents and implementing a lot of R&D projects. I was, as I mentioned, the World Vegetable Center. Several continents I've been to implement it, serving people and building, enhancing their capacity. I worked with federal institutions. I worked with various international organizations. So it given me a sort of a wide variety of things, but finally it allowed me to stay in a place to contribute to the future generations. I probably can say supervised and trained over 250 highly qualified professionals in my career, and I still do. Um, I cannot describe where my destination will be. Even now, my destination is unknown as of now. So that's where my fascinations about horticulture is all about.
That's great. So, what do you consider to be the most rewarding part of your career in horticulture?
It's a very good question. There are so many. It's not just the one part of it. I can cite a few of it actually. The most exciting part for me is waking up in the morning, going to the class, stimulating, inspiring my students, and challenging them with the kinds of questions that we need to address and make the world better through horticultural science and physiology and ecophysiology. That's the course I was teaching as well. So that is the foremost important thing, that I believed in building future generations. So that was the most exciting thing that was in me, and it's very innate to me personally. The second one is about providing solutions for the industry challenges, contributing and making it better, making it number one in Canada or North America or in the world. So that is one of the most exciting things. Looking at their problems, what is challenging, how do we contribute through horticulture, how do you contribute to the science? That is the driving force in me. And that allowed to know various training, various graduate, undergraduate, as well as PhD and postdoctoral fellows. But that part was another most exciting part in life. The third one is about contributing to the global capacity building, right? It's not only for us to be in there, but how do you make our world better, right? That's one of the things that was going through in me. So we had several international projects that was part of it and implemented several capacity building technology missions in various parts of the world, and working with them, our colleagues across the world, and looking at their perspectives, listening to them, and providing solutions for them, and that is another area which I felt really comfortable in, that would be contributing to change the world. And the fourth one is it's really exciting in a leadership building perspective. I always believe that we need to be, one of our foremost goals is that we don't want to leave the world without building leaders to follow. I think leadership is one of the key things in me. So I was always fond of training my graduate students and undergraduate students to be leaders of tomorrow. And the same thing with the faculty members. What that leadership means basically to them. So having engaging in constant conversations with them on various aspects of it, and leading the teams and showing and demonstrating that these things work. So that's one of I think that these are things, the four major things that was, I would say, the most rewarding experience in my life and career.
That's great, actually. It's very great.
Yeah.
So how long have you been a member of ASHS, and how has the society influenced your career?
Wonderful. I think I have to rake my brain actually, going back in time. I think my first abstract was presented. It was my supervisor, Don Aspinall from University of Adelaide Wade Institute, came and presented my research here at ASHS conference. I couldn't be here. It was sometime in 85, 86, I believe. Unfortunately, I couldn't come. I didn't have money to travel at the time from Australia. But I think for the past 27 years, I believe, close to from 1996 onwards, I never missed a conference from that time on, except for this COVID time. That I couldn't do much. I could not travel. There were travel restrictions. As soon as that is all over, I made it a point that I had to be here. So it's been a very consistent thing. It's not just me attending. I also brought in several of my students. Almost every single one of them got the international travel grant. Every single one of them. It's not only my students, but also attracted several of my faculty members to be the members of ASHS. So it's been a part of my, I would say, an integral part of my academic thing to promote ASHS and also bring them on board. The ASHS has been a tremendous platform. I know many people may not even know about this one. It may directly or indirectly contribute to a career development, but as a person, if I look back and think about it, actually, it brought in so many colleagues in the US and other parts of the world closer. It brought in a platform to be engaged in and talking about various aspects, various issues, various problems, both in research, academic, education, and working together in many of the things actually as we do. And I was a part of ASHS judging team, and I was a moderator, and I was a chair of various working groups at the time, or interest groups you can call now. There was a crop physiology, environmental physiology, plant growth regulation. I also, working with our colleagues, brought in a newer working group called the ecological physiology. So it's a nice thing. Like-minded individuals come together, thinking about the challenges and problems, and be trying to understand, have some research contributions, and also it helps us to mentor our graduate students and PhD students and undergraduate students who come here and present their results, and being a part of that conversation. And it's really very interesting to be in that. So in many aspects, ASHS has provided that platform, which benefits everybody. I don't think this happens everywhere in the world and in such a larger capacity. Now, we generally have even every country, they all have their own little associations. They meet a year and then that's it, nothing happens after. But this is much more. It's not conference to conference arrangement or relationship. It is throughout your career, you have the relationship built on various commodity groups and industry linkages. And also it provides us sort of a conduit, basically, not only within the academics world, but also inviting industry to be a part of that engagement, the political policy makers to be a part of ASHS in the conversations that we have. So I think probably it's a great model, great example that ASHS has served its true nature of it. So I'm proud to be a member of ASHS and who really enjoyed my presence here every time.
That's wonderful. So with all of this long career and experience in horticulture, what advice you offer to student and young professional in horticulture?
Generally, I don't advise anybody because it's advising someone is the easiest thing to do. But I would like to share how I take it, actually. So it might be an advice. I think I can only talk about what I've gone through it, my experiences, what I believe in. So that could probably resonate well with some, may not resonate with others. So in simply speaking, horticulture is not just a job. It's not just a profession by itself. You practice and then forget about it. It is a passion, right? It has to be imbibed like you breathe air. It has to be in everything that we do, right? I know we all eat vegetables and fruits and spices and things like that every day. I'm connected with it every single day, every single meal, and I think that needs to be a part of that. You have to embrace it. And then if you're in a horticulture professional, again, it is not about publishing papers. It's not about you have done your extension part, you supervise students. Not about number. It is about that we are directly or indirectly contributing to the major global challenges like the food insecurity, nutritional insecurity, climate change, um, providing solutions for various challenges in it. And I see that I think you need to believe in it, that we are doing it actually not just because we have a position to go, but we are part of the transformation that horticulture provides us actually. So think about that one in that particular perspective. The second one, which I would suggest uh, people can put in consideration towards it and think about it, is um, don't chase your destination. Don't think that you want to be this. You want to retire as a professor. You want to retire as um, a political leader. Don't put your destination up front. I think the destination will find you. I think that's true in my case. And I never had a career goal. I never even think of career goals. Up until it, I just followed as and when the destination attracted me, the positions attracted me. That's been my experience in there. Right? It's really true. And the third one that I would like to think about is don't just pursue a dream. It's weird to say that one. People do not like that when you say everybody wants to pursue the dream, but don't just pursue the dream. Pursue the dream that keeps you awake at night or nights, right? I think that's really important. There's a difference between you pursuing a dream and pursuing a dream that keeps you awake at night. There is a total difference. So I think probably that's one of the things that I would like to um, suggest people should consider and listen to your own innate self, right? I think that's really important. Most of the time, we are so busy with so many things, and our promotion and tenure thing, pressures build up. We want to prove ourselves, but no, I think we forget about ourselves. No, we are in the stream of a sort of a flow state, right? We are lost in time. So I want our colleagues and the youngsters to slow down, right? People do not like that to be said, but I'm telling you, slow down because you don't even know. You just join and you will retire. You are lost in time. I was lost in time. So I will always urge my students and my postdocs and my researchers, slow down, reflect on it, build on your health, or focus on your family, put something in the forefront, right? And rest will follow through, right? I think it's really important that we really understand that logic. Then the whole thing can be very organic rather than forcing ourselves into such a uh, I would say just working towards tenures and accomplishing a goal and things like that. That's okay, but think about slowing down. That's one of the things I would
That's
suggest.
great advice. So what excites you most about the future of horticulture industry and the profession?
Wow, I never thought you were going to ask that question. it's a, uh, it's a. I would like to answer that in a different way. Um, I think horticulture is the future. The reason I say that is horticulture has the power of transformation. It's a solution for the food insecurity in the world. It's a solution for providing solutions for climate change in the world. It's a solution for eliminating poverty in the world. It's a solution for unemployment in the world. It's a solution for bringing equality and equitable economic distribution in the world. It is a solution for women empowerment in the world. So horticulture has got tremendous potential to be contributing to various parts. It's an integral part of, it should be in any socio-economic agenda, right? I'm telling you because I was a part of that transformation, and I've done that basically in India. People never believed that it could bring in such a transformation. It will bring in sort of a revolutionize the way we think about horticulture and transform societies. It is possible. That is one thing which I want to mention. The second thing about future of horticulture. The horticulture some 30, 40 years ago, as I was a student, has transformed so many things, so much. Looking into the future, the horticulture is not just about production of crops, right? If we look into how the world is transformed, we are talking about omics. Now we have significant numbers of tools to change the genetics and breed the kinds of things that we want to. That's happening on one side. On the other side, you have this data science bringing in so much of data from various parts of the world, and also from the space as well. AI is another segment that is growing, whether we like it or not. That is going to happen. The digital science, I would say, that is also growing exponentially across the world. We're talking about 6Gs already in terms of what to do it. And wherever I've been there, and all farmers have about 2 or 3 smartphones in the hands, basically looking at the numbers and selling the produce at a rate that is reasonable to them. So the world has changed a lot, basically, in terms of the I think is how horticulture, people who are in horticulture think themselves in sort of a silos. That people think that it is just about production, right? Somebody else will do the marketing. We are still in a sort of a supply managed system. And also, we're looking at the academic programs. There isn't much of a change. There's a very little change. Changes have occurred, but there's a very little change. My only suggestion, the way I look at it actually, is how do we going to embrace these changes that are occurring and inculcate that one in our academic program so that the new generation students will come in a sort of a very comprehensive, overall, organic ways of looking into multiple challenges. The challenges are so complex, we cannot afford to be just, have a tunnel vision on something. It's not like, oh, I'll be able to grow peppers. No, that's not what is expected in the future. It is about the integration of various science and technological divisions and how we incorporate knowledge through that. That needs to change. If we have done that one successfully, we create a generation with multiple talents, multiple skill sets, and that will be able to, they'll be able to position very well, basically, under any challenging circumstances. So that's what I see, basically. I think there's a responsibility on the part of universities. There's a responsibility on the part of community colleges, public institutions. And I also believe that in terms of building awareness, we should also educate. Horticulture should be a part of a curriculum in elementary school till high schools. So everybody gets to know about what kind of a food that they need to be eating to be healthier, and building a healthy community and providing cafeterias and refectories the healthy meals. And then they'll be able to challenge, basically, in terms of, no, I don't want that one. I want to have a much more nutritionally rich in terms of what we can eat. And also looking into this, the whole human genome project, looking that one into horticulture, we certainly recommend what sort of a horticultural crops that we can choose to eat, basically, in order to correct certain diseases and disorders, right? So I think we have to look at that one in a holistic way as a horticulture, rather than having a tunnel vision in building newer programs. So that's in simple that I could think about how we can
That's
do.
wonderful. So at the end, on behalf of the media committee and the ASH in large, I would like to thank you and for giving us this time and opportunity. For me personally, I learned a lot from your experience and your career. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ahmad. All the pleasure.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure.